please give a warm welcome to Greg Louganis.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I know the director and producer would have liked to have been here, and I know she would have said, that we need to raise money for distribution, so we'd really like to get this out to the general public, because we feel it's a really important film. It was 3 years in the making. Cheryl was my therapist for those 3 years. There was a lot going on, and you'll see in the movie. And I'm going to be back to do Q&A, and also remind you, please vote too if you enjoy it. Thank you.
Once again, please welcome Greg Louganis.
Gosh, having your dog as your ring bearer, how gay is that?
Greg, if I can start the question.
Sure.
God, where to start? Most of us would have, the film is so candid, and most of us have a hard time being that open and honest about ourselves, even to people we know, let alone the world. This isn't the first time you've done that. You did it with your autobiography, but this movie, you lived through, I understand, years, 3 years or
yeah,
more or less. With
yeah, it was three years in the making. Yes.
Where did you find the strength to do that? Where did you summon up the resources to open yourself up that much to the world?
Well, I think that the beginning of it. And it actually happened with a play. I was doing Jeffrey at the Minetta Lane Theater in New York, and I was playing Darius, who was a chorus boy in Cats, and he had AIDS, and he dies of AIDS. And he delivers probably the most poignant message I felt in the play to the lead, Jeffrey, and that was to hate AIDS, not life. So in that that journey of that play and me playing that character, I was able to act out a lot of my fantasies. And so I went to a friend of mine, Robbie Brown, and I said, I really want to write a book. I feel that this is the next step in my road, in my journey. And so he introduced me to Eric Marcus, and then Eric Marcus was incredibly thorough. I mean, we had lots of fights. But at one point it was very emotional, and he said, I'm not leaving town. He said, do you have a therapist? Are you working with a therapist? And I said, no. He said, I'm not leaving town until you have a therapist. Because he was really concerned. But I mean, it was an incredible experience. I felt like I was, in Breaking the Surface, I felt like I was sharing my weaknesses. I was a gay man living with HIV. I admitted that I was raped by one of my previous partners, and I stayed for 6 years after that. So I stayed in this abusive relationship. So I felt that I was sharing my weaknesses, but on the book tour, what I realized was that by sharing my weaknesses, I was actually sharing my strengths, because it empowered other people, to be strong enough to either leave an abusive relationship or come out to their parents about their HIV status or their sexual identity. It was really very empowering. So that became the journey. And that allowed me to be as candid with what was going on. I mean, I was on the verge of losing my house when Cheryl came into my life, and so that was there. But that was also, I wasn't unique, you know, that it was happening across America. And so, you know, I felt that, you know, that was important to share.